I live in a not so small, not a huge apartment, and there I have some house plants, and one of them is really big. Some others are also quite big, but this is by far the biggest one. It's called Monstera Deliciosa, which is a funny name for this plant. Monstera refers to a giant, very big, and I'm not sure if it refers to the size of the plant or of the fruit, but the Deliciosa, of course, refers to its fruit. Funny part is that when you buy such a thing and the label says, well, don't eat this plant, and well, it's a good advice, but it's a little bit exaggerated. It can be eaten, but it should be eaten only when on a certain stage of ripeness, or else annoys your tongue or even gets poisonous a little bit. This video is about the aerial roots of this plant. If you look at the label or the superficial advices about this plant, they say, well, you can cut them off if you don't like those. These aerial roots. These aerial roots have several functions. The aerial roots, they root in the air actually, so they can take humidity from the air if there is sufficient, and well, maybe if it's in the jungle, it also with this rain comes some nutrition. The other part is they grow in the jungle, so they are attached to trees. But I wanted to look at another aspect of this aerial roots. If the aerial roots reach the planter, they turn into a normal root, so they go into the ground and the plant can grow better and better. And well, you can see how much better the plant can grow if I focus a little bit on where they come out of the soil. And well, here they are in diameter about 2 centimeters or something like that. And in the top, here you can see it already, it's much bigger. The other one is even bigger. So they are like 5 or 6 centimeters in diameter. So in surface, so in capacity to transport, it's like 6 times as much. Well, I got into this experimenting phase when I saw these aerial roots reach not just the soil, but also the floor in my apartment. And they grew on and on. So I thought, well, maybe I can add another planter. I put it beside one and helped the aerial roots to find the soil. And you can see that here the soil is completely well penetrated with so many roots, aerial roots mostly, that the plant actually almost completely stopped growing. And after they found this new soil here with the aerial roots, it started growing again. So then I thought, well, what if I add another one at the other side and bring some aerial roots over there? Well, it succeeded, but the success was really huge. Here, from the square planter, one root has started to grow in the direction of the new round one. Yes, here you can see this one clearly grows to the new planter. But not just that. If I go to the first round planter, one of the roots comes out of the ground of this round planter and starts growing in the direction of the other round planter. Well, it's almost like behavior. Well, I'm really into experimenting. I recently started doing some experiments with my grandchildren from this book, but I had another shoot from the plant that grew and grew, and I had no place left. And then I moved it to this place again, and then I cut it. And now I have gone on 5 experiments here. I have this, the original one. I have an aerial root. Well, I don't expect much of that, but I have a little stem with aerial roots. I have a stem with 2 leaves, rather big leaves, and aerial roots. And I have the top, the original top. I expect the best behavior, the best results from that 5th one. Well, the reason why I started to give more attention to this plant, one of them, which is a beautiful plant too, but The remarkable thing about this plant is that if you take a look at it, at the very first look you don't see it, but if you take a look, well, every week or something like that, then you see that every new leaf has its own design. Coming back to that, that behavior of that aerial roots going to another place, I wondered, is that a field of study within botany, behavior of plants? Well, it turned out there is a field in botany now studying behavior of plants, but that's really recent. That's from this century, not from the 20th, but from the 21st century.